What offenses in the NFL this year are going to be the most explosive? I want to give you guys my projection for the NFL's top 10 most explosive offenses going into this season. At number 10, I got the Miami Dolphins. This is the fastest team in the league. You got Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Devon A-Chain. There's just speed all over the place with Miami. And although they did struggle in big games last season, this was an offense that scored over 30 points per game against non-playoff teams. That average dropped to only 13 points per game when they went up against teams that had a record of 500 or better. So that's the reasoning for why I have them rated so low at number 10. Their offensive line also took a little bit of a hit. They lost a good amount of talent on the interior of that unit, and I don't know if that offensive line is going to play that good this year. The O-line hasn't played good for Miami the last couple of years, which is why they come in at 10 for me. I still believe that this is going to be an offense that is going to be predicated off timing, getting the ball out of Tua's hands fast, and letting Tyreek and Jalen Waddle work in the open field. And if Devon A-Chain could stay healthy along with Raheem Mostert, you're going to have a really fast offense that's going to be really deadly this year. I was really hyped for Devon A-Chain last year, and I was really disappointed when he got injured because I had him on most of my fantasy squads. So Miami comes in at number 10 for me. The Chicago Bears, I have at number 9. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but if Caleb Williams ends up being as good as what he's been hyped up to be coming out of college, you mean to tell me that you can't see Chicago's offense being in the top 10? Look at that receiving core. That's without a doubt the best wideout room in the NFL going into this year. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze. And then you also have Cole come in at tight end. Come on, man. Nobody should be able to slow down Chicago's passing game this year if Caleb Williams is able to deliver and live up to the hype. There's way too many weapons around Caleb for him to struggle this year. This is going to be an offense that's going to be pick your poison. They're going to be able to shred you through the air, or they can kill you on the ground because you got DeAndre Swift, and Caleb Williams, he's a really good runner as well. He's way more athletic than what people give him credit for. The dude isn't small. He's pretty well built. He's pretty thick. No diddy. And he also has the ability to run through guys. He also can make you miss with his elusiveness in the open field. You got Shane Waldron as your new offensive coordinator replacing Luke Getsy. Shane Waldron, he was the OC for the past couple of years down in Seattle, and he ran an offense that I think complements Caleb Williams' skill set perfectly. It revolves around doing a lot of improvisation outside the pocket, extending plays, making big throws downfield. Chicago's offense is incredibly underrated going into this year, and I have them 9th on my list of top 10 offenses for this season. 8, I got Kansas City. Okay, Kansas City's offense regressed a little bit last year. It wasn't as explosive as what we've seen in years past. They were more of a short, methodical passing attack compared to taking a lot of deep shots downfield in years prior. But this year, you got Xavier Worthy, you signed Hollywood Brown in free agency. You have 2 elite deep threats on the outside. And I know we haven't seen Xavier Worthy play an NFL game yet to claim he's an elite deep threat. But anytime you break the NFL combine record, you automatically become an elite deep threat right out the gate. Because with that kind of speed, we saw what Andy Reid was able to do with Tyreek Hill. And then you pair him alongside of Hollywood Brown, who also has boosters underneath his cleats as well. You're going to see a more explosive offense out of Kansas City this season than what you saw in 2023. Last season, they were just trying to do what they had to do to score points. This year, though, they should be able to get way more big plays in the vertical passing game than what we saw in last year's season, because they didn't have too many wide receivers that were good of that were good at creating separation and getting a lot of plays downfield. Like, you had some big plays here and there. Like, Mahomes made some big throws to MVS from time to time occasionally, but you're going to see way more consistency with the big chunks that this offense is going to generate. And plus, you also are going to have an improved offensive line. You drafted a really good rookie tackle out of BYU. So I think Kansas City's offense is going to shake back in a major way this year. I have them 8th on this list. Now, next up, I got the 49ers coming in at number 7. Their offense is always a safe bet to be explosive, but you add Ricky Pearsall from this past year's draft. I was really high on him. This is somebody that has the ability to be a really good number 1 wide receiver in this league. Good explosiveness. He's really shifty, has really good suddenness with his footwork, and he's an incredible route runner and separator. For the 49ers to have Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Jawan Jennings, and then you add Ricky Pearsall, this is an underrated group of wide receivers. Ricky Pearsall, if his number does get called a good amount this year, he could have a stellar rookie season. You still have CMC there. We know about George Kittle. So with all the weapons that the 49ers have at their disposal, you got Kyle Shanahan calling plays. This is definitely an offense that should still be amongst the best when it comes to their ability to generate explosive plays offensively. Detroit, I have at number 6. A lot of y'all probably are going to make the argument that they should be a lot higher because you got Jahmyr Gibbs coming into year 2. He could be poised for maybe a potential all-pro season. You got Sam Laporta. Jameson Williams could have a nice year, but I'm not convinced on Jameson Williams yet. I still need to see a lot more out of him before I can say that, yeah, he's going to have a big role in Detroit's offense, because the Jameson Williams hype has been going on for the last couple of off seasons, and we've yet to see anything translate on the field besides a couple of splash plays here and there. Is this really going to be the year that Jameson Williams can put it all together and produce a good season for the Lions? I'm 2BD on that. But for the most part, with their offensive coordinator coming back, having a great offensive line, Jared Goff, and what he has to work with Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta and Gibbs, I definitely expect for Detroit's offense to still be amongst the NFL's most explosive. They come in at number 6 for me. Now we're getting into the top 5. This is where I'm going to cause a lot of divisiveness in the comment section. I just know it. The Green Bay Packers. This offense is not getting enough attention as it deserves, man. You have a great group of wide receivers. You don't have anybody in that wide receiver room that's elite, but you have a lot of guys who can give you solid to above average play. You can rotate guys in and out. There's just so much depth at that wide receiver position for Green Bay that it's impossible to see Jordan Love having a slump. The way he ended the second half of last season was nothing short of amazing, especially his performance in the postseason when they put belt to ass on the Dallas Cowboys. And there was a point during that 49ers game where, be honest, even if you're a 49ers fan, you probably thought that the Packers were going to end up going to the NFC Championship game, because up until the final moments of the fourth quarter, Green Bay was in the driver's seat for that game. With Jordan Love going into his second season starting for Green Bay, I think that the sky's the limit for this dude. He could not only win MVP, but maybe he could get Green Bay back to the promised land. Plus, you know that they got a really good offensive line with really good depth. You just added Josh Jacobs, who's going to be an upgrade from Aaron Jones. This is going to be a really effective, efficient, and potent offense for real. I think when you talk about the Green Bay Packers walking into this year, the Philadelphia Eagles come in at number 4 for me. This offense last year was a major disappointment once we got into the middle portion of the season, things started to go off the rails. With Kellen Moore being your new play caller, this is going to be a way better offense than what we saw last season. Jalen Hurts should bounce back. Is he going to be as good as what we saw in 2022? I don't know about that, but I definitely expect him to play at a top 10 level. You got A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, one of the best receiving duos in the league. We know that A.J. Brown at one point earlier last year was an MVP candidate with the kind of monster numbers that he was putting up. This offensive line is going to take a little bit of a hit, losing Jason Kelce to retirement, but they have a really good replacement in place for him. You add Saquon Barkley, who is going to be one of the biggest impact free agency signings this year. The fact that the Giants let him fall right into Philly's hands, I don't know how they allowed that to happen, man. If that was going to be the case, they should have just traded him away, because all you allow Philadelphia to do is continue to make their offense more overpowered than what it already is, man. You already had arguably a top 3, top 5 wide receiver in A.J. Brown. Devonta Smith is a top 15 receiver, depending on who you ask, maybe better, with a top 10 offensive line, which Saquon has never had during his time in New York. You mean to tell me that Philly's offense isn't going to be up there this year? I'll be really surprised if Philadelphia doesn't produce top 5 offensive numbers this year. Everywhere that Kellen Moore has been, his offenses have been pretty good. The run game has been a little lackluster from him as of late, but offensively, in terms of what you want out of your passing attack, being able to generate those big plays vertically downfield, he's a perfect fit for what Philadelphia has in place on this side of the football. So they come in at number 4. At number 3, I got the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore had pretty much the best offense in the NFL last season. There wasn't anything that they couldn't do. They could do anything they wanted to do against opposing defenses. With Lamar Jackson's ability to not just improvise and make big explosive plays on the ground with his legs, but also his ability to do it throwing the football, we're going to see that elevated to a different level this season, because he enters his second year under Todd Monken. They're going to be rolling out some new things. You're going to have Zay Flowers going into year 2. He could be in for a breakout year himself. And you got a lot of depth at tight end with Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews. The only question with Baltimore is, how good is their offensive line going to be, because they only returned 2 starters from last year's unit. You got Derrick Henry now. Now, at this point for Baltimore, you got to keep asking yourself, when are you ever going to be able to get over the hump? Because this offense is going to produce some really scary performances against a lot of the teams they're going to play this year, because how can you stop an offense that has a quarterback that can do everything? Even when you think you have Lamar Jackson bottled up, he still finds a way to make things happen. And now you have to worry about that monster truck at running back and King Henry. Yeah, good luck stopping Baltimore this year. At number 2, I got the Los Angeles Rams, man. They have a lot of riches coming into this season. You got Puka Nacua, who had one of the greatest rookie seasons that I've ever been alive to witness. Cooper Kupp. I mean, you got Kyron Williams, who had a breakout season. And then you drafted Blake Corum, who I also think we're going to hear his number called a good amount of as well, due to Kyron Williams' durability concerns. And you still return a pretty good offensive line. And you got one of the best play callers in NFL history in Sean McVay. I could see the Rams making it to the NFC Championship game this year, mainly because how good their offense is going to be. Their offense was really good last season. But imagine the damage that they're going to do this year, now that you could potentially have a good 1-2 punch at running back. When Kyron Williams got injured, the production of this offense dipped a little bit. But when he came back, they were averaging nearly 30 points per game. So the Rams come in at number 2 for me. And at number 1, oh, you guys are about to love this one. I know everybody's about to agree with this one. I got the Houston Texans, man. The Houston Texans have the best receiving core in the NFL. Stefon Diggs, Tank Dell, these are two of the best route runners in the game. And you allow them to be on the same team with each other, yeah, one of these dudes is going to be open every single play. And then you got Nico Collins to take the top off the defense when CJ Stroud wants to push the football vertically. You traded for Joe Mixon too. If Houston's offensive line takes a step up this year, this is going to be an offense that's going to be damn near unstoppable to get off the field. Or they're going to be damn near unstoppable because their offensive line was not good last year. They had a lot of injuries. If that becomes an average or better unit, I don't see how CJ Stroud couldn't win MVP this year because the talent at wide receiver is too good for him not to produce at a high level when you have guys and Stefon Diggs and Tank Dell who just get open and create separation with ease. So there's a lot of talent for him to work with this year. I have him as my front runner to win the most valuable player award this season. And I think that Houston's offense is going to be really deadly going into the 2024 NFL season. So this is my list of the NFL's 10 most explosive offenses going into this year. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a lot of agreement about these rankings in the comment section below. Let me know what team is rated too high, who's too low, who shouldn't be on the list, and who got left off the list that should be on here.